What's going on? It's Alan Brown, aka Bully the Kid. Thank you for joining me. I got this question asked on my Instagram, and I wanted to go ahead and address it to everybody just in case you had a question on it. Subject matter, tone. How do I get it? Why is mine messed up? How do you get yours? We'll get to that after this. Kick that intro. All right. Thank y'all for watching the channel and all that good stuff. Take the time right now to like, subscribe, tell somebody about the channel. I'm trying to grow. Now, I appreciate y'all being along for the journey. But we're talking about tones. So what all does affect your tone? Some people think that the tone woods of the instrument changes the tone drastically. Other people think that the electronics that you use, that's what really modifies your tone. Which one is right? Both. So to some degree, just to prove it, an ash body bass and a alder body bass sound differently just because of the denseness of the wood. And also, density in wood adds weight. It also adds kind of a depth or a mid-range type of thing to what you're using. So that does affect what you're playing. Now, fretboard. Some people think rosewood sounds exactly like maple, or, ebony sounds exactly like rosewood. Is that true? I don't personally believe that's true because I have a bass that's made out of alder and ebony with a Jatoba and Purple Heart string neck, and that's the brightest bass I have. So, yeah, that's my signature, the BTK5. So I actually put a clip of it right here. So that bass sounds nothing like one of my M2s that have, it's all mahogany and rosewood fingerboard or even the maple fingerboard. They don't sound exactly the same. Also have different electronics. So let's get over there to that. This is a jazz bass. This is a Fender American Pro 2 jazz bass. Very basic control. It is a passive bass, string through the body. Very, your standard for recording and sessions and all that good stuff. So I wanted to use this as kind of the industry standard of what you would use in a professional situation. There are a lot of other basses that can compete with this, but for the most part, when you think of a bass or you think of a guitar, specific shapes come to mind, and they're all kind of birthed from this original design. So I figured this would be a good bass to start with to give you the idea. So electronics, it could be single coils like this. It could be a split coil like a P bass. They could be humbuckers or a combination of all of those things together. My bass over here, Goldie, has 3P pickups. The front pickup and the back pickup together kind of sounds like a jazz bass, but it has just a little bit of a different thing going on. And if I was to do all 3 single coils, like my Big L that I have back here, the front and back pickup kind of sounds like a jazz bass because of the positioning and where everything is in, the composition of the bass, kind of doesn't, so it's all, personal flavor, personal taste. So there's the 60 spacing where the bridge pickup is closer to the middle of the body. And then there's a 70 spacing where the bridge pickup is closer to the bridge. Those both change the characteristics of what the bass sounds like. The 70s is generally more snappy, more of a funkier tone. People use it for a slap and stuff like that. You can also play it just jazz, but most of the time that I've ever seen, people are using it for slap in that bass. Once they start getting closer and closer together, it becomes more mellow, more chill. So that may be the popularity of the modern or the 60s spacing bass. Who knows? But electronics in there. From company to company, windings on the pickups are different. So some wind them over so they are really, really responsive and they sound a little bit more bright. Some people hand wind it and it's kind of imperfect and it gives like that vintage thing. Because back in the day, people were hand winding pickups. They didn't have machines that could just spin them up real fast. So, there were some basses that came out perfect and mellow and silky and smooth and buttery and all that good stuff. And then there's some basses that, even for Fenders, they just don't sound right and you got to swap the pickup. So how do you get your tone? Well, you kind of have to listen to music and the things that you gravitate to the most. How do you emulate that sound? So for me, it was Bootsy Collins, right? Bootsy Collins is famous for having a setup that's similar to Goldie over here with just excessive pickups and all types of ridiculousness there. And I liked how it looked aesthetically. And I like all the sounds and stuff that he was able to get with it. But I did get to hear the bass just into an amp. And it has this type of vibe, especially if it's the front pickup and the back pickup together. That vibe is Bootsy. So that's one of my funner funking basses. You know what I'm saying? So you listen to this person and then you try to figure out how what he's using. And then you throw it in your bass. Of course, you won't sound like him because a lot of tones comes from your hands, but you can get close to sounding like the man. You know what I'm saying? So one key thing that came out, or one key instrument company that came out, is Sire. Can you be Marcus Miller? Absolutely not. There's only one Marcus Miller. You know what I'm saying? But you can get his tone from his bass. It's knob central. Like there's like 7 knobs on this control plate. But if you dial it in at extremes, depending on how you play, you can get his tone. And that's from knowing the equipment and then utilizing it, how what you hear, how you emulate what you got going on. So, but yeah, rather than me address this on my Instagram, I figured I'd come to you on YouTube and they follow me on Instagram too. And just say it to everybody. You know what I'm saying? So how do you get your tone? This is my process. I put my amp flat. If I have active electronics in my bass, I put that at 12 o'clock. I put that flat as well. From there, I either choose, do I want to adjust it on my bass or do I want to adjust it on my amp? More than likely, I'm going to want to adjust it on my bass. So from there, I then start pulling things out. So I'll pull the mids down a little bit. If I need a little bit more presence, I'll boost the treble just a little bit. And then I'll start messing with the tone if that's available and stuff. Some situations, some amps or some basses actually have a master tone that works on the active bass, Sire being one of them. So as I'm doing this example, I'm thinking of what I did to find what I want to use at church. So I had an EBS Raidmar, and that's a very modern hi-fi amp. And it was going into 410s with a tweeter. And the tonal possibilities just on the amp was too much. So I just kind of set it at industry standard, just 12 o'clock everything. That's gain and master volume, and then did all my manipulation on my bass because, 7 knobs plus 13 knobs is way too many options, and you'll be tweaking stuff and adjusting stuff all day if you get into that. So try to keep it as simple as possible. Less is more. You don't need a whole bunch of pedals and stuff, especially if you're playing just, jazz bass or worship bass or something like that. Bare bones probably is best. And as you get more interested in experimenting, then add in 1 or 2 things. But that's my opinion, So thank y'all for watching. And I'm going to go ahead and end this video here. Again, like, subscribe, comment below. Let me know what you think. And I will hit you in the next video. Till then, y'all be easy.